Hello, everyone from Salt Lake City. Gwen Iarussi here. I am the president of the Association for Software Testing, as well as the chair for this year's CAST, happening in Salt Lake City, August 25th through the 27th. And I'm hopping on today to connect with all of you. And to get a feel for some of the questions that may be out there, some of the concerns that might be out there, any questions you have, any thoughts you have, any things that have you confused about Salt Lake City or the conference itself or the program or the speakers. I would love to chat with you all about it today. So you have a lot of different options to join. You can either leave your questions in the comments, and I will be able to respond to them as they come in. Or you can join the conversation live with me, and do it that way, because, it's Friday and I would love to connect with you all. I'm trying to get a little bit better view. My camera's picking up. It's really bright out here, as you can see. It's a bright summer day here in Salt Lake City. It's about 85 degrees, I think, right now. So it's not terrible, but not cool either, although it's nice and cool in the shade. Not necessarily cool, but a little less scathing from the sun. So we'll see if we get any people joining here. And until then, I'm going to share a little bit about my first CAST experience, because it's kind of a key reason that I'm the president of the Association for Software Testing today. So my first CAST was, I think it was like 2016, 2015. It was in Madison, Wisconsin. And it was held at a beautiful location. I believe the building was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. It was the most unique conference experience I had ever been to. I had been to a few testing conferences over the years and found them to be semi-useful. In a lot of cases, I found them to be incredibly repetitive, and a lot of times it was a lot of vendors who were selling me something, who wanted to sell something. And so, yeah, I mean, not my favorite thing. But yeah, I mean, my biggest complaints were vendors. Hey. And just having it be very sales driven, I think, is my major complaint about this stuff. And so, CAST was totally different. There was a lot of conversation. There was a lot of challenging. Hello, welcome. Oh, did you join? Did you leave? All right. Someone left. Well, they joined for a minute. So yeah, my first CAST experience, it was very different than the other conferences I had been to. And I think there's something key about having it be practitioner led, right? I think it's important for everybody to know that we aren't doing these conferences to make money. I don't survive like this. In fact, all of the efforts associated with CAST and AST in general are all volunteer. So we all have day jobs, just like you guys. We are in the field. So, my role has changed a little bit over the years. Right now, I am more on the governance, working still with delivery teams, but enterprise governance type stuff. So kind of bridging the gaps between technology and regulatory bodies and risk management and internal governance. And so, same things, same kinds of conversations that we have. Because at the end of the day, I think one of the big things that we do as part of our quality context is minimizing risk to our organizations and to the people that end up using our systems and our interfaces and our applications. But yeah, we are all volunteers, and so everyone up the stream, including myself, we do this because we love our community, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie. But it's a labor of love, and we are very, very picky with the types of content that we share, the types of content that we put in our conferences, and we make it very, very clear to all of our sponsors as well that the event is more about getting together and educating and sharing and demoing and having the hard conversations. So I think that's what makes us unique. And we're at a precipice right now where we have a lot of questions entering the field. We have a lot of people out of work right now. We have a lot of people kind of looking at their future as quality engineers and determining whether that's going to continue to be a viable discipline in a lot of delivery teams. And frankly, there's been some question about that, I think. So valid concerns, and all problems that we have solutions for. We may not have identified them yet, but that's part of what AST does is get everybody together and share ideas and share the problems that we have, and work through on what solutions we think are going to benefit our organizations and benefit those who are continuing to master this craft that we're all a part of. Okay, I'm pulling up chat here to make sure that I'm not missing any questions. Let's see. I see some, well, question on the tutorials. Okay, Chris, thank you for your question. So we have a question about the tutorials. So do they all require a computer and software installation? Only one specifically says to bring a laptop. Good question, Chris. So no, not all of them will. Although the ones that are more technical in nature, I would recommend bringing a laptop. And we will make sure to provide, once we kind of know and we've kind of had people select which tutorials they'll be attending, we'll make sure to get all of that information out there to you. But yes, we will. I will work with the trainers for each of the tutorials and make sure we get that list out there for you. Good question. Definitely something that needs to be on my to-do list. So we will make sure that that's out there before you come to the event, so that you know what you need to have installed, and you can have that ready to go when you come. Great question. I would say let me actually, what I can do while we're here, let me share. We'll see if this will work here. No, I don't know if it'll let me share my screen here, but it's not doing it. That's okay. I will just reference it. So if you go out to the website, so Association for Software Testing .org, and you go to the conference page, there is a list of, or there is a schedule of all of the tutorials out there. So if I go out there right now and I go to day 3, so I don't think you will need one for Olivia Gamblin's So hers is going to be more theoretical. My guess is that you may use paper and pencil, and which we will have some of that on. But if you bring a notebook, that's probably enough. I know that that's going to be more theoretical, so you're not going to necessarily be doing any coding or anything like that. Eric Progler and Stephanie Dukes talking about coverage, breadth, and depth and prioritizing your testing. That one, I would imagine you won't need your computer either. So that's more theoretical and, kind of, there will be hands-on participation with these workshops, but it's not coding. It's not going to be on your machine. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Hung Nguyen's half-day workshop on prompts, methods, and tools, that will need your computer. I would recommend definitely prepping that. And again, I will work with Hung to make sure that the detailed list of what you need and what you should come prepared with, we'll get that out to you. Improving your testing, that one is going to be incredibly participatory, and it is it's going to be more fun. I think there's going to be a lot of people getting up and moving around. It's a lighthearted one, but it also has practical application in terms of how you use critical thinking and how you are thinking about the systems that you're testing, and how you're kind of working through the problem set from an improv manner. So he's taking all of the improv skills and applying them to software testing. So that should be fun. But again, not one that you're going to be on your computer. That one's going to be more in person and more direct communication. Half-day workshop with Michael. That one will more than likely need a computer. So I will reach out to him and make sure that those requirements are shared. Peter's as well around test automation with Java. That is a very, very hands-on. So definitely plan on bringing your computers for that one. And we will get the list of requirements in terms of what to have installed and set up. And then also Paul Hollins and Kim's around tool-assisted testing. That one also will be definitely hands-on. And again, I'll get the list of requirements for that one. So thank you again for that question. So yeah, that should hopefully answer your question. All right, what else? Griffin, why is this special for you? Oh, okay. Yeah, I was talking a little bit about that before. So my first cast was in Madison, Wisconsin. And I had the opportunity to meet several lifelong friends that I think it was back in, I'm thinking either 2015, 2016. If anybody knows, if anybody AST out there is watching and remembers Madison, Wisconsin, and when that actual cast was, let me know. I loved it. I was a new manager. I was working for an online university, nonprofit university, and actually one of our sponsors, Western Governors University. I was working for them at the time, and I was their first tester and lead, and I was the one who built out their quality program initially. And so really, really new leader. I had led teams, but not as a manager. And so it was my very, very first manager role. Boy, why was it special? It was special because, again, I think having it practitioner led changes the vibe significantly. You're not, it's a little less formal. So, where you'll see in a lot of these conferences, you'll see a lot of big, heavy booths and, millions of dollars of displays being spent on marketing. That's not what this one was about. This one was really about the craft of testing. And boy, I got the opportunity I remember one of the coolest sessions that I attended that day was a tester working with NASA on some of the testing scenarios that they had to go through for the Mars rover. And it kind of opened my eyes to just how broad the craft of quality really was, and how many different applications it really applied to, in terms of, sometimes it's software, sometimes it's hardware, sometimes it is incredibly high risk, sometimes it is lower risk, right? So it kind of helped me kind of get an understanding of context in general, and just how vastly context changes from one uh, from one organization to another, and from one environment to another. Um, so yeah, that was good. Let me see here. Let's see what. And other than that, a lot of the fun stuff that we had happen is like it happened either before or after the conferences. So not everything happens within the context of the conference itself. Yes, we have scheduled activities, and we have things happening during the day to keep people networking and keep people talking, and create spaces. I love that about our venue this year. I mean, there's plenty of spaces for, if you guys get into conversations and that you want to go down rabbit holes and you need to kind of delve into a problem set, or you have a debate happening about a topic, there's plenty of space for you to kind of go and have that conversation as part of the experience. And oftentimes we'll have informal, coffee sessions before that happen. And we have, evening mixers where we can get, like, people will go out and go see the city, and, go downtown and get some fun with the nightlife. People will connect with people they've never met before, and go and talk quality over a beer downtown. And so it's just lovely. It's again, it is 3 intense days of talking nothing but quality and testing and everything you can possibly imagine. And if, the more, I think it's one of those things where the more you kind of get into it and let yourself just experience it, and get out there and start talking to people and start conversations and utilize our open season format, which is pretty amazing, in terms of being able to challenge ideas that are being shared, even the ones from the stage, and gives in the room happening. It's pretty magical. Griffin, you said 1/3 of the time is dedicated to facilitated conversations. Yes, it is. So yeah, so um, and yes, evening talking can run into the early morning hours. It will be very intense. You'll learn a lot, and a lot of it will be through that informal discussion around some of the things that you'll be learning as part of the formal discussions. So yeah, super fun. Griffin, do you want to, Griffin, you have a lot to say. I almost think you should kind of get on here and share your first cast and share why it was special for you. I would love to hear your perspective on that. I think I've included the link. Yes, I did. I included the link in the LinkedIn invite. If you would like to join, and I will just add you to the session here so you can kind of get on and have live conversation if you would like. If not, that's okay. You can always share in the comments as well. All right, let me keep looking here to see what else is coming in here. Let me talk a little bit. So yesterday I shared some information about Salt Lake City itself. As many of you are aware, Utah in general is a very Western kind of open and highly recreational state. We have mountains. I am literally 5 minutes from a canyon here in my backyard. And so, it is, I have cyclists passing my house all the time, mountain bikers. I have, we have skiing in the winter, we have mountain biking and water skiing and lakes in the summer, paddle boarding, you name it. And it's all within, we have ski resorts, like 20 minutes from my house. So it's right here, which is pretty unique to this area. You don't find that very often. I actually was born and raised in Colorado. And so I lived on the Front Range. in front of those. And you have the Front Range, which is all the foothills. And so it takes you a while to get to mountains you could actually ski on there. And it takes a couple hours to drive up the canyons. And here it's not like that. Here you drive up half hour, door to door, and you're on the ski slope at that point, which means, not only is there fantastic hiking in the summer in those same areas, but it's very close to where you work. And so, we are, for those of you who are not aware, we are Silicon Slopes here, which is a tech center, much like Silicon Valley. We are very friendly to startups, and so there's a lot of collaboration in that space here. We've got Facebook out in the West Desert, has one of their massive data centers out there. We have the NSA that doesn't really exist here, but does. And several others. Like we've got Adobe at the point of the mountain. We have Pluralsight here. We have, you name it. We have Oracle. We've got MX. We've got too many to name. Anyway, Western Governors University, which is an online university, is out of Salt Lake City. In fact, I live right down the road from them. Griffin, another question. Awesome. Oh, yes, he's going to join. Here we go. Hey, welcome, Griffin.
Hey.
So your last question, what surprised me most about CAST? I think the relationships that I built and the network of testers that I actually came away with. Those individuals are still in my life today, are still one of the many reasons that I joined the board for AST, and also have been sources of insights and encouragement at my darkest of times. And they've also challenged me in ways that I didn't expect. So, we've had our conversations about, my ambitions in my own, career in terms of what I want to do when I grow up.
Absolutely. So first of all, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Excellent.
Cool. Conversation.
All right. Did we meet in Madison?
You look really familiar, so I'm thinking we did.
I played games at our big round table and had people coming up. So
nice.
I think we did.
Yes, more than likely.
Yeah, what you're saying. So it's really, so CAST is special because of the people.
Yeah.
And often the best thing will be, I thought that presentation was going to be really cool and I'd learn a lot. It was okay.
Yeah.
But the conversation I had in the hallway, like at 7 p.m. when I went out to dinner with that person, that was the thing that made the difference.
Absolutely. Well, and I think, you touch on something that's important. Like, it's really hard. A lot of the problem spaces that we work in it's very difficult in a 50-minute session to really delve into all of the potential answers for that, right? And to really get a full understanding of what you're tackling and how to tackle that. And so, we get speakers who they do their best and they have fantastic presentations, but you're always going to leave probably with more questions than you have answers. But that's where those nonchalant little conversations come into play, and those those side conversations in the halls come into play, and the conversations until 2 a.m. over a beer come into play. So you're absolutely right. It's those types of connections that are, and frankly, I haven't experienced that at other conferences. So there you go.
It's unusual. Many of the CAST is. I've attended other conferences. I presented at other conferences. CAST is special in the sense that all the people that present at the big conferences are people that attend CAST.
Yes, exactly.
And so it's like, oh, these people are all experienced, or even if they're not highly experienced, they're highly engaged.
Right.
And so there's a lot of conversation activity. At larger conferences, you don't see people staying up to 2 a.m. talking about testing. You will have that at CAST.
Yeah.
Or
absolutely. Absolutely. And it's always amazing to me, like the side pockets of like that happen around the city, right? Like, I
Mhm.
mean, granted, yes, it's only we actually kept the conference at 250 for a very, very specific reason. And it's because of this, right? We
Mhm.
want you to get to meet the people that are most engaged in the industry. We want you to have those moments. And when there are 2,000 people there, it's a lot harder to do, and it's a lot harder to create that space for that.
So my first cast was in Toronto.
Nice.
The
Okay.
workshops were the day before.
Mm.
And so
Mhm.
I had signed up for a Jerry Weinberg workshop.
Oh, nice.
And in that was Michael Bolton and Fiona and a number of other people that are now named people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And after that, after the first day of the workshop, I decided to be around Jerry, and Fiona and Jerry and Michael decided to go out to dinner, and they
Nice.
invited me along.
That's
And
awesome.
so, yeah. And so that's the kind of opportunity you have.
Yeah.
So be
Yeah.
willing to take a chance, make yourself available, be engaged.
Yep.
People want to hear your opinion about
Yeah.
what's going on. Even if you have fresh eyes are incredibly valuable.
They are. They are. I mean, and that's that's something to call out as well. It's not just for leaders. It's for if you, even if you're interested in quality as a profession, if you are interning and just getting your feet wet in the tech industry, and you're not quite decided whether you want to be a developer or a tester or a product owner, or any number of roles within this space, right? um uh, you know Coming in and being able to play with ideas and get a sense of the problem sets that you're going to deal with as a tester, like, and again, you'll be sitting with people who just started as testers, and you'll be sitting with people who are literally driving the industry and driving the craft, and helping put the changes in place that will help provide a path for others, right?
Mhm.
um so yeah, I mean, that's a tremendous opportunity in and of itself.
The New York City conference, I met a really interesting person that I won't name at this moment, but I met them on the way to back to the airport. So she was at the conference, I was at the conference, and it's like,
Nice.
and then we talked about testing
Yeah,
back going home
exactly.
on the way to the airport. So you look for the opportunities where serendipity is putting you next to that particular person.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Mhm.
What are, I mean, as someone who has attended a few of these, what are some tips you would give to new cast attendees this year?
Make sure that you're well rested before you get there.
Mm,
Uh, um,
yeah.
be willing to take a chance and become engaged with others.
Yeah.
Uh, if you're coming with a group, be willing to not just huddle with your own friends from your own company or from
Yeah.
so so
Reach out.
reach out and find a new person. Um, there's yeah, go take a chance. Take a chance
Yeah.
on your own learning.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, and ask those questions. Ask them. Um,
Oh yeah,
so yeah, let's talk a little bit about the open season format, because
sure.
that is one thing that differentiates cast from a lot of different conferences. Actually, I don't know of another conference that does that. um, but the open season format, so everybody, as you register, you come in and you get your badge for the 3 days that you're there. um, One of the things that we'll be giving you are 3 cards, and I'm actually trying to figure out if we can do this digitally this year, but if not, it will be 3 cards. And there's a red card and a yellow card and a green card.
Yep.
And the green card is, and correct me if I'm wrong because I might get this wrong, but the green card is additional thoughts or
It's a new
perspectives.
topic.
New topics. Okay, new
It's a kind of a
topics.
new topic, a new thread.
Got it. Okay, new threads. And then yellow is either it is like a question.
I want to build off the current thread.
Okay, I want to build off the current thread, and then the thread is an actual challenge. So you can challenge the speaker, bring, and again, this is all.
It's more of you're using acronyms that I'm not familiar with. Hey, I don't want to go 15 minutes into the presentation and not know exactly what those particular terms were. So it's a way to.
Okay, so you're stopping it and going, clarify something.
Yeah, please clarify that particular information because by the way, if you abuse your red card, it will be taken away.
Yes, that is true. That is true. And we have had some people do it.
Yes, well.
But, I think it's one of those things where it does create that opportunity for that shared conversation for you to weigh in and be part of the presentation.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So the way it works is the person does their presentation, red cards only during that time. It's like you're throwing around a whole bunch of FDA terminology. Can you tell me what those 3-letter acronyms mean?
Right.
And so you can pause, the facilitation people will see your red card and those will be answered real time during the presentation. But then eventually the person stops and there should be at least a third to at least 15 minutes, but usually preferably about a third of the time left for the person. The facilitator will call for it's going to be open season, and then people would hold up green cards with their particular number on it, and they make a list, and then they copy down the basic what the basic question is in the short little blurb, and that becomes the name of the thread. And they ask their thread. The first thread gets asked by the facilitator, or the facilitator calls on the person. The question's asked, the response starts, and then you'll see yellow cards coming up that people want to build on top of that. And then the facilitator takes down a list of who those people are, and will then call on them.
Awesome.
It's not exactly FIFO because there's an intention to allow everyone to have an appropriate degree of participation. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, and that is, I will say that is kind of a key thing to note. Like, we do have moderators in the room and facilitators in the room to help that specifically, right? Because you don't want it to just become a 2-person conversation and with everybody else just observing. So that is one of the things that's very, very important to us. And it is something that we moderate and that we make sure is that there's a natural flow to the conversation and that everybody
we sort of want to, so the use of the yellow is so that we don't have we sort of drain through the particular topic to an appropriate degree so we're not skipping around between topics per se.
Yep. Makes sense.
If your green card doesn't get asked, you can always go to dinner with the speaker.
Exactly. And, they love talking about this stuff as much as all the rest of us. So
very true.
And we have some great speakers coming. So, some of them are new to me. Some of them are new to AST. Some of them have been around AST for a really long time. So, we have everything in between. So Griffin, what is one of your most what are you most excited for CAST this year?
For this one? Yeah. Well, so I'll be selfish. I haven't attended since before COVID. So it's been quite a long time.
Yeah.
So
well,
frankly,
I was going to say, I think we did one in 2022 or 2023.
Was that Nashville? Did you do Nashville? There was one I missed.
Well, so there was one we had to cancel. I can't remember what year it was. I think it was 2023 that we had to cancel.
I've attended enough that I can't remember them all easily.
Yeah.
We
had a rough go there just because, I think COVID was still a play.
Even these folks had noticed that there was a real reluctance to meet in person. And
there was.
Even big conferences struggled at that time.
Yeah. Yep.
So you're not new in that way. For me, so it's reconnecting with people that I know.
Okay.
Meeting new people that I will know after I leave. It's like, oh,
Yes,
that's really
exactly.
cool. Learning particular something new, like AI, is totally new compared to like in the past.
Sure.
So someone will speak about that, and there'll be interesting perspectives on that. I've heard James talk a little bit about it, but it'll be interesting to hear other folks.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's the people that attend CAST are like family, professional family, and so it's nice going back to the family reunion.
Yes. That is what it feels like a little bit. Yeah. Once you've attended once, you'll want to come every year because and what's nice is that we kind of move around, right? We do kind of go around the country. I think, we are re-looking at the possibility of even doing one in Europe this next year. So we'll see if we can make that happen.
Nice.
But because we are a global community, I don't know if everybody understands that. Like, we actually have a good chunk of our members both in APAC and in Europe. And we are all over the place. So, and we have, we do have events that occur. They're kind of coming back. Like, we're kind of rebuilding some of that after the COVID lull. But in fact, some of our biggest engaged members today are overseas. So
yeah, there's a significant presence in Europe of people that are around our particular community.
Yep. And the nice thing about membership is that you get to connect with those individuals and get to know them and get to add them to your network. So that is also a big pro of AST just in general. Yes, the colors. Any other questions on the colors? And we'll definitely go over that at the conference as well, just so that everybody's clear.
Red, green, and yellow. Yeah, Paul will get up and explain it much better than I do.
And there is information out on the site on it as well. I think one of the pages out there kind of goes through each one. Let's delve into a little bit about the AI topic. So, a lot of conferences this year are kind of showcasing AI. We're taking a little different approach. In fact, one of the first things that I mentioned when we were kind of doing early planning for CAST was I really wanted a balanced view. And so all of the presenters that have AI components to their talks or sessions, tutorials, I have asked them to, one, if you are going to present on AI, you need to talk about the constraints that AI has today and some of the risks associated with it and some of the challenges that come with putting this stuff in play. Because I think there is this tendency, especially at conferences, to get people who are promoting. They have ulterior motives. They're either promoting a tool or they are they're there to make contacts and sell stuff, right? And anybody who sat through any of those AI, it was the same thing with automation, right? Or no code automation, or you name it. Any one of these kind of new advancements that come out, you get the people who are selling it and who are telling you it can work magic, and it can't. And so that is something that we have taken very, very seriously. I think it's our responsibility to take a different perspective and to make sure that we're telling the reality of the AI story as opposed to just the glam and just the fluff.
There's two types of people. There's technical buyers, people that attend CAST that are the practitioners that understand the technology deeply and are having to live with it and do it. And then there's economic buyers.
Right.
The people at the top level that are sold it, are sold tools, and then that bring them top down. CAST is unusual in the sense that it's almost that's not true. There's people that it's mostly technical buyers. However, there are senior people that also have economic buyer responsibilities, but they lead with their technical knowledge as technical buyers.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
As opposed to larger, similar conferences where there's an entire floor dedicated to booths of vendors that are wanting you to do free version, use their free version of whatever the newest thing.
Right. And it being fully transparent, we do have a couple of AI vendors
Yeah.
that will be there. We have Quality, which is a local company. Quality AI is their product, and they are an automation test tool that is just kind of making their way into the market. I think one of the cool things that I like about them is that, you know, I had some pretty heavy discussions with them up front as we were talking about what sponsorship looked like. And I think one of the things that impressed me about them was that they want to learn from this community as much as they want to share, right? And I think there's a lot to be said for that, because I think that means not only are we going to get a realistic view of what their product can do today, but we're also getting their technical people there to kind of delve into some of these problem sets and and be very honest about the constraints, and maybe even have the right conversations to kind of go, all right, you have 250 testers in the room. What do you all want? Like, what do we need from these tools, right? Because they can't do everything well. Even AI is not going to do everything well. It's going to be great at some things and bad at others. It's going to be great in some domains and not great in others. And I think being able to look at that and go, hey, if we were to hand pick what we wanted out of these tools, what would those look like, right? What would those features look like? So,
Yep.
yeah. So lots of opportunity even to drive future development in that space. And they're not the only ones. We have Provengo coming. So we have a representative from there who will be speaking and talking a little bit about their tool, which is an AI driven tool, but it's also model based. So it's really good for, you know, feeding it very specific criteria and utilizing that to kind of define the boundaries of your testing.
The best examples that I can think of vendors that have come to CAST were situations where the vendor gave an opportunity for people to learn the newest versions of their particular tools. So sit down, test drive, and learn.
Yep.
But they were also very open to what problems are you having? What would you want? What's working? What's working? We want to amplify. What's a struggle? What are some of the newer needs? So being very open to helping redesign and steer and listen to customer feedback or potential customer feedback about future product direction.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Plenty of opportunity there. So if you have your
Absolutely.
list, if you have your top 10 list, bring it to CAST.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Awesome. Let me double check here and make sure we're not missing any other questions here. And Chris, you may want to confirm and just make sure that I answered your question fully. I hope that was what you were looking for. Let's see here. Yeah, I think we're good there. One of the things I did want to talk about a little bit today is we have, and I'm not sure if we've done this historically. So we have a few of our speakers who are also authors. So I did a live stream the other day with Olivia Gamblin, who is an AI ethicist. She's actually doing our opening keynote. She's fantastic, smart as anything, and is just neck deep in all of this stuff, and has some fantastic perspectives. Her book is Responsible AI. It is out. It will be available at the conference, and we are actually going to do a book signing.
Very cool.
So you'll be able to connect directly with her and get your copy. I have just started delving into it. Fascinating book. We also have Michael Larson and Matt Heuser, who put out, and I'm going to pull up so I don't get the name wrong here. I'm going to pull up the name of their books here. Hold on. Software Testing Strategies, a testing guide for the 2020s. And I think it came out last year. Also a fantastic book. If you are new to testing, it's great. It digs in. It's a good practitioner view of some of the challenges that you'll face and some of the strategies that are used today in the real world. And it was kind of their passion project. And so we will have Matt. I don't know if he's going to be able to attend, but we will have Michael there. He is one of our speakers and one of our tutorial
Nice.
trainers. So he's going to be speaking on a lot of accessibility at the conference. So that's been a passion area of his for the last few years. And so he's going to be kind of showing what's new in that space, and getting down deep with it with the tutorial that he's got, and bringing it, helping kind of helping practitioners kind of understand how it relates to the quality context. What are some of the things that, even from a basic quality context and scoping standpoint, some of the things that you can do out the gate to kind of help on that front. So really excited for his sessions. And he will be there, and he will be doing a book signing for their book. So that'll be awesome. And then we also have Trina Celeste, who is coming. And Trina Celeste's book, I'm going to pull hers up just so I can get, because, on the spot here.
Are they going to just sign, or are they also going to be selling books, bringing up
both
some quantity? Both.
Yes, we will have their books for sale at the event. Yep.
They will likely sell out. So go early.
Exactly. Orchestrating Work-Life Harmony is her book. And so she's a local tech entrepreneur here in Salt Lake City. I had the opportunity to kind of get to know Trina over the past couple of years through her one of the nonprofits that she started and was a co-founder of, called Tech Moms, which is focused on helping women who have gone out of the professional realm for raising families and being taking care of the home, and then coming back in later on, and returning to the corporate world. And in most cases, it's technology related. So we're going in and we're teaching classes. They do a base class that kind of gives them basic web development, gives them skills on how to interview and get into some of these entry-level roles, and utilize the skills that they have, right, from being moms. So it's a fantastic nonprofit. I actually teach one of their cybersecurity cohorts.
Nice.
And so I've gotten to know her through that. She's fantastic. She is also a global speaker, and so she will be there, both selling and signing her book as well. So
excellent.
We've got so lots. I mean, the opportunity to really kind of rub elbows with some of these individuals who have dedicated their lives to kind of helping kind of make the technology realm accessible, and make sure that as we kind of broach on these newer technologies, that we're doing it in a way that is for the betterment of society, which is also a big part of the quality context, right? So I'm excited.
Good.
It should be fun. Yeah. What else should people know? We've got about 10 minutes left here, Griffin. What else should people know about CAST? That
you have on the website where you have 2 recommended hotels, correct?
Do. Yeah, we have 2 recommended hotels. I would recommend doing that now. So they are selling out pretty quickly. We only have a specific number, and they will only be available through August 1st. So those discounts, and it's partly because they have to be able to open up for those who aren't interested. So get your reservations in now. Do not wait for that last month. Chances are we're going to sell out anyway. And so, the sooner you can get registered, the better. And that also tells us that you're coming, and get you connected with the network of individuals sooner, which adds benefit for everybody, right? It means you're bringing your experience to the table, and they're getting the chance to know you as well.
True. Are you keeping up on the website? I know that you're capping it at 250 folks. Are you publicizing that if we're approaching the cutoff number, will people be aware that the number is being approached?
Well, I mean, so we are ramping up, like I said, I mean, ticket sales are going, like they're ramping up. People are kind of getting it in. So we expect to sell out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, if you're going to do it now.
Do it sooner versus later.
Do it sooner versus later. We get that big, like what we have noticed is that the trend is that this last 2 months is kind of our biggest ramp up in terms of people registering, and so now is the time to get in. Yeah, and one thing I do want to mention that I am very proud of. One of the things that I think we've really tried to do with CAST is to make it accessible to a larger group of people. Conferences are expensive. They're expensive to put on. They're expensive to attend. If you go out there and look at Star, you're looking at $2,500, $3,000 to attend. As we have tried to put together a world-class conference, one of the things that we always have at the forefront of our minds is our budget and being able to make it as affordable to our people as possible. And so, if you go out there and you look at our price, you will notice it is significantly less than any other conference in its class. So what that means is that, you're going to get a world-class conference at, in some cases, half the price. And that's not because, we're going cheap. It's because we're being very, very smart about how we're doing it. Thankfully, this year, I have had the opportunity to work with my company, Zions Bancorp. And they have a beautiful technology campus that was built in 2022 here in the Salt Lake Valley. They have allowed us to come in and use that space at a cost that is significantly less than what we would be paying. And what that means is that we get to pass that savings on to our attendees. So, we have done as much as we possibly can to make this a world-class event, and at the same time, keep it within the realm of possibility for a lot of testers. So
the testing, AST is a nonprofit. This is being sponsored by them. Yep. I note, I love them dearly. I've talked at their conferences, but they are a profit.
They are for profit. Yes,
they are for profit.
Sponsor driven, right? So you
absolutely
definitely get a lot of the vendor sales pitches there. And so again, that is not what this is. That's not what this is about. We are, we do bring on sponsors. Full disclosure, we do have sponsors, but they are our sponsorships aren't near what some of these others are. And part of that is because it really is about giving them access to the community and kind of demoing and getting into the nitty gritty as opposed to giving them opportunities to sell their product. It's about connecting and building relationships over that, right? And so, yeah, I mean, that is not our focus. Our focus is not around making money. It's about supporting the community at large. And we do that however we possibly can. So we've been able to do that this year. Even over the cost of the last cast, I think we've been able to drop the price on that. So I'm really, really proud of that.
So the first cast I attended, I said, was in Toronto. Jerry Weinberg was speaking there. It was close enough that I could drive to it.
Yep.
And so there came a point in time where I said I was working for a startup, so I wasn't getting paid a whole bunch.
Yeah.
But there came a point in time where I've always wanted to attend things like this. I've never had the time.
Yeah.
Or they were too expensive.
Yeah.
And the stars aligned such that I was able to attend. And I essentially said to myself, look, if you're going to, you either have to attend this and make the commitment to do it, or you need to stop pretending that, well, it's not my fault. So I took some ownership and responsibility for my own learning. I was willing to pay for half of it myself and not just depend on the good graces of my manager to pay for it. And it was the best. Paying for half of it myself was a good move. Because then I had control over what I wanted to attend and what I wanted to learn.
Exactly. Well, and you touch on a really important part of this. I think we in the quality space are at a crossroads here. There has been, as a leader in this space and someone who has led teams in the discipline for many years, I think, and they can speak to this. I mean, if they're out there listening right now, they'll laugh because I have always told them that it's not your job's responsibility to keep you current, right? And they're not going
Yep.
to. Your company is not going to. In most cases, your company is not going to invest in your future, right? They're about investing in the company's future, and they have n number of other people to consider, and so it's your responsibility, and my responsibility, and our responsibility as practitioners within this space to do what we need to do to be good and to master our craft. And that's going to require some evolution right now, and it's going to require us to challenge ourselves to learn new things and to understand new systems and understand new technologies, and if we're going to continue speaking as experts, right? And so CAST 2025 is going to be one of those opportunities for people to delve in and to really take 3 days, right? Take 3 days. If you consider 3 days out of your role there, in your day to day, to do nothing but invest in yourself and your future and your skill sets.
So one strategy people might consider, and this worked for me when I worked in the startup, was I said, I will pay the money. I will pay the travel. I will pay the hotel because CAST isn't that expensive.
Right.
We'll split half the cost of the conference fee, and you'll give me the time.
Yeah.
Because so it's like, okay, I don't have to burn my vacation.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
a great way to approach it.
Yep. So be flexible in that. Usually companies care more about money than they do about your time.
They do. Well, and the other thing, when you talk about value proposition, one of the things that you can do, if your company isn't in a position, which I know a lot of them aren't right now, to send your entire team, you can make this an investment in the team in the sense of making it a train the trainer type of scenario, right? Where you go to the event, you learn some of these insights, some of these skills, and you bring them back and share them with the rest of the company. And you make that part of the value proposition to your organization.
Sure.
I have done that many a time, and it's been great. It's helped me refine some of the upskilling programs in the organization. It's helped me in the areas to kind of develop my own team's careers, right, and help them kind of figure out new things to challenge themselves with, new learning opportunities, and new things to try, right? Like just go out and experiment with something. So, I mean, that's where some of these value adds can come back. And the other thing to mention is that we are offering some pretty significant discounts for team members over 5. So if you bring over 5, you start getting into some pretty massive discounts for the team.
Nice.
Per ticket. So so that's really awesome. And just one more way that we're helping. And one thing to remind people, like if you don't know this, if you become a member of AST, and we make our memberships incredibly approachable. I think they start out at like $10 a year. So we are, again, this is about the community. It's about helping you individually grow and grow globally as part of this craft. And so you go do that, you spend your $10 to become a member of AST, and you automatically get significant discounts on registration. It brings it under $1,000 for the conference. So, I mean, that is a way right there to save yourself a few $100s off the top. And then you get the added effect of being part of this community ongoing. And, we have multiple events a year that happen monthly. We get together, we have monthly roundtables around all kinds of all kinds of topics. You can even propose topics, right? That's part of this is
Mhm.
bringing ideas to the table. And then we schedule a round table to discuss it. Those have been fantastic. We're kind of re-looking at some of the training opportunities that are available outside of our BBST certification. So there's all, like, as far as ongoing, it's just opportunity after opportunity to kind of, instead of doing it all at once, right? Instead of upskilling all at once, it's becoming a part of your regular vernacular, and you're staying connected with the knowledge as it evolves,
Mhm.
and with the experience as it evolves. And you have, you know, several thousand individuals around the globe in just about every domain and every context you can imagine, to be able to kind of reach out to and go, hey, I'm having this problem. Does anybody have any ideas on this?
Exactly.
And delve
So
into it.
it's the network makes a big difference.
It does.
Um,
Yep.
Someone in our community will know something about it, or they'll know who you should talk to,
Exactly.
or where you should go read.
Yep. Yep. All right. Well, we're coming up at the hour here. I know you guys are probably wanting to get back to your day, and I have some things I need to finish off for this week. So thank you all for your time. Griffin, thank you so much for joining.
You're welcome. Thank
It
you for
makes it a
inviting
whole
me.
lot nicer than just talking to myself for an hour.
Yeah,
So,
you phoned a friend. Yes.
and I really look forward to seeing you again in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, it'll be very fun.
Yeah,
I wonder who the new person that I'll meet will be.
Yes.
Yes.
Remains to be seen.
Very true.
All right. We'll see you all at CAST August 25th through the 27th. See you there.